The Hanging Gardens of Babylon have long captivated the imagination of historians, archaeologists, and dreamers alike. As one of the seven wonders of the ancient world, these gardens are often depicted as a marvel of human ingenuity and architectural brilliance. They are said to have been located in Babylon, near present-day Hilla, Iraq, and were described as a series of terraced gardens with lush greenery, exotic plants, and cascading water features, all suspended in mid-air. The gardens were reportedly built by King Nebuchadnezzar II in the 6th century BCE, either as a gift to his homesick wife, Amytis, or as a testament to his own power and wealth. Despite their grand reputation, the existence of the Hanging Gardens remains a subject of intense debate. No concrete archaeological evidence has been found to definitively prove their existence. Ancient texts and descriptions provide vivid accounts, but these are often inconsistent and sometimes contradictory. This lack of tangible proof has led many scholars to question whether the Hanging Gardens were a real historical site or merely a myth that grew out of ancient folklore and imagination. The purpose of this exploration is to delve into the heart of this enduring mystery. By examining historical records, ancient texts, and modern scientific theories, we will explore the evidence that supports both the existence and the myth of the Hanging Gardens. We will look at the archaeological efforts that have been made to uncover physical traces of the gardens and the scientific challenges that would have been involved in constructing such a complex structure in ancient times. Ultimately, this exploration will leave readers with a deeper understanding of the Hanging Gardens and the fascinating debate that surrounds them, inviting them to form their own conclusions about whether these legendary gardens were a magnificent reality or a captivating myth. To understand the significance of the Hanging Gardens, it is essential to explore the historical context of Babylon itself. Babylon was one of the most important cities in the ancient world, located in Mesopotamia, a region known as the cradle of civilization. The city was founded in the 19th century BCE and reached its peak under the rule of King Nebuchadnezzar II, 605 to 562 BCE. Nebuchadnezzar II is credited with transforming Babylon into a magnificent city, building grand palaces, temples, and fortifications. Babylon was not only a political and economic center, but also a cultural and intellectual hub. It was home to the famous Ishtar Gate, adorned with glazed bricks depicting dragons and auras, and the Tower of Babel, a ziggurat dedicated to the god Marduk. The city's wealth and splendor attracted visitors from all over the ancient world, and its reputation as a center of learning and culture was unparalleled. The Hanging Gardens are described in various ancient texts, with the most detailed accounts coming from Greek and Roman historians. The gardens are said to have been a series of terraced platforms, each planted with a variety of trees, shrubs, and flowering plants. The structure was reportedly supported by stone columns and arches, with a complex irrigation system that brought water from the nearby Euphrates River to the top of the gardens, allowing it to flow down through the terraces. One of the most famous descriptions comes from the Greek historian Diodorus Siculus, who wrote in the 1st century BCE, "The Hanging Gardens have plants cultivated at a height equivalent to the top of a hill, and the roots of the trees are embedded in an upper terrace rather than the earth below. The whole structure is supported on stone columns, and the whole is hollowed out and filled with earth to a suitable depth so that it holds the deep-rooted trees." Another detailed account is provided by the Roman historian Strabo, who described the gardens as, "The Hanging Gardens are watered by a stream which is raised by a screw pump from the Euphrates. The whole structure is supported on stone columns, and the whole is hollowed out and filled with earth to a suitable depth, so that it holds the deep-rooted trees." These descriptions paint a vivid picture of a lush green oasis in the middle of a bustling city, a testament to the ingenuity and wealth of the Babylonians. However, despite these detailed accounts, no archaeological evidence has been found to support the existence of the Hanging Gardens. The lack of archaeological evidence. One of the most significant challenges in determining the reality of the Hanging Gardens is the lack of concrete archaeological evidence. Despite extensive excavations in and around Babylon, no definitive traces of the gardens have been found. This has led many scholars to question whether the gardens were a real historical site or merely a myth that grew out of ancient folklore and imagination. Several theories have been proposed to explain the absence of archaeological evidence. One theory suggests that the gardens may have been destroyed by natural disasters, such as earthquakes or floods, leaving no trace of their existence. Another theory proposes that the gardens were not located in Babylon at all, but rather in a nearby city, such as Nineveh, which was also known for its grand gardens. In recent years, new archaeological discoveries have provided some intriguing clues. In 2013, a team of archaeologists led by Dr. Stephanie Daly of the University of Oxford proposed that the Hanging Gardens were actually located in Nineveh, the ancient capital of the Assyrian Empire. They argued that the gardens were built by the Assyrian king Sennacherib, who ruled in the 7th century BCE, and that they were later attributed to Nebuchadnezzar II due to historical confusion. Dr. Daly's team cited several pieces of evidence to support their theory. They pointed to ancient texts that describe the gardens as being located in Nineveh, as well as archaeological remains of a sophisticated irrigation system that could have supported such a structure. They also noted that the gardens were described as being built on a hill, which is more consistent with the geography of Nineveh than Babylon. Despite these intriguing theories, the debate over the location and existence of the Hanging Gardens remains unresolved. Without definitive archaeological evidence, it is difficult to say with certainty whether the gardens were a real historical site or a myth that grew out of ancient folklore and imagination. The scientific challenges of building the Hanging Gardens. Even if the Hanging Gardens did exist, the task of constructing such a complex structure in ancient times would have presented significant scientific and engineering challenges. The gardens would have required a sophisticated irrigation system to bring water from the Euphrates River to the top of the terraces, as well as a sturdy structure to support the weight of the soil and plants. One of the most significant challenges would have been the construction of the irrigation system. The gardens would have required a constant supply of water to keep the plants alive, and this would have been a formidable task in a region with limited rainfall. The ancient Babylonians would have needed to develop a system of aqueducts, pumps, and reservoirs to bring water from the river to the top of the gardens. Another challenge would have been the construction of the terraced platforms. The platforms would have needed to be strong enough to support the weight of the soil and plants, as well as the water from the irrigation system. This would have required a sophisticated understanding of engineering and materials science, as well as the ability to construct large stone columns and arches. Despite these challenges, the ancient Babylonians were known for their engineering prowess. They built grand palaces, temples, and fortifications, and they developed sophisticated systems for water management and irrigation. It is possible that they could have constructed the Hanging Gardens using their existing knowledge and technology. The cultural significance of the Hanging Gardens. Regardless of whether the Hanging Gardens were a real historical site or a myth, they have had a profound cultural impact. The gardens have inspired countless works of art, literature, and architecture, and they continue to captivate the imagination of people around the world. The Hanging Gardens are often seen as a symbol of human ingenuity and the desire to create beauty in the midst of urban environments. They represent a vision of a harmonious relationship between nature and civilization, a vision that continues to inspire modern efforts to create green spaces in cities. The gardens also reflect the cultural and intellectual achievements of ancient Mesopotamia. Babylon was a center of learning and innovation, And the Hanging Gardens are a testament to the creativity and engineering skills of the Babylonians. They remind us of the rich cultural heritage of the ancient world and the enduring legacy of human achievement. In conclusion, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon remain one of the most fascinating and enduring mysteries of the ancient world. Despite extensive research and archaeological efforts, the question of whether the gardens were a real historical site or a myth remains unresolved. The lack of concrete evidence has led to a lively debate among scholars, with theories ranging from the gardens being destroyed by natural disasters to the possibility that they were located in a different city altogether. The scientific and engineering challenges of constructing the gardens in ancient times add to the mystery. The task of building a complex structure with a sophisticated irrigation system would have required significant knowledge and skill, and it is unclear whether the ancient Babylonians had the technology to achieve this feat. Despite the uncertainty surrounding their existence, the Hanging Gardens have had a profound cultural impact. They have inspired countless works of art, literature, and architecture, and they continue to captivate the imagination of people around the world. The gardens represent a vision of a harmonious relationship between nature and civilization, a vision that continues to inspire modern efforts to create green spaces in cities.